Thank you for having me. Thanks for everybody coming, and thanks for bringing in all this. It's great. Yeah, get wasted. I'm not sure if kids use that term. I don't know. It was either that or get trashed, but I picked get wasted. I've been a practicing industrial designer for like a little over 30 years, mainly in the consumer electronics area, which means e-waste. But just recently, over the last few years, especially with the pandemic, I've been very disillusioned with what I've been doing. I was working at Belkin for 21 years, and just the fact that we design and manufacture things that become obsolete so fast. So I quit, and I'm taking a break right now to explore other creative endeavors, and one of those things is upcycling. As far as like recycling, like I really try to minimize my footprint. Recycle, but as you know, a lot of the recycling that you put in the can, it doesn't get recycled. Things don't get sent to China anymore. I try to buy used things when I can. I just try to buy less, and try to fix things, and I'm upcycling. So upcycling versus recycling, they're kind of used interchangeably, but a lot of times recycling or recycled gets used more, but I'm okay with that. It's all well intended. To me, recycling is when products or objects get broken down into the little bits and you can't identify what they once were. The other thing with recycling is recycling uses, as you know, a lot more energy to process and resources. Also, a lot of new material, virgin material gets injected in a lot of these products versus upcycling. So upcycling, to me, the original object is still somewhat recognizable. These are some photos I took. I found these knockoff Eames chairs in an alley. The bases were all damaged, and they're the wood ones. $100 out there. I don't know, my neighborhood has a bunch of these. So what I did, I combined them into something new. Now you have an Eames chair, even you have an imitation Eames chair that can swivel and roll around. So I brought one in there. In between, so I think that in between recycling and upcycling is something I'm calling large bit recycling, and it's kind of a hybrid endeavor. The bits are bigger, and there's still history, and you could still see what these bits once were. So this is a side table or end table that I made from old kitchen cabinets. And I ripped these cabinets down to 1x2s, then glued them together to make renewed lumber. A quick history, like the first instance of upcycling actually comes from Japan in the late 1500s, I believe, with a technique called kintsugi. And that's where you take gold and lacquer to repair ceramic items. Not only does it become functional again, it creates this unique character, one-of-a-kind character that tells the history of the product. In the 2000s, Subaru was invented, and it's non-toxic on your hands. So this is a updated version of kintsugi. In the art world, of course, there's Duchamp, who took manufactured items, mass-produced manufactured items to create art objects. Then again, on the flip side, in the 2000s, a magazine co-opted the term ready-made and created this magazine called Ready Made. I even contributed some projects to this. Sadly, they died, so too bad. Cycling is repair culture. During the World War II, there was a British campaign to mend things called Make, Do, and Mend. And still today, with electronics, there's a movement called Right to Repair, with laws and bills being passed. So I think like the largest plastic thing around me is my garbage cans. Send this garbage can with this. There's a couple upcycling designers that I really are inspired by and impressed by. Hein Eek, who I was inspired by when I created this end table, takes old furniture, old houses, moldings, all sorts of things, and creates new furniture. He, as you can see, leaves the finish intact, again to show the history, and of course creates a unique aesthetic too. Nicole McLaughlin is a soft goods and shoe designer, and she works for Reebok, I believe. She was just aware of all the samples that would come in to the office and the studio, and just had to do something with them. So she creates new items from samples. A lot of them are like garments like these. In terms of companies, has anybody heard of Sway Sew Shop? They're in LA, and they take discards, donated items, and combine them to create new garments. They also have community dye baths, so you could take your faded clothes and like get a new color, brighten them up. Maybe you've heard of Patagonia Recrafted. This is where Patagonia think you could sell back items, and they'll take it apart and create new one-of-a-kind items. This is just a quick little presentation because I want to focus on what you guys brought in and talk about it. But I find this to be a work in progress because I don't know. I think this could change, but I thought about this today in terms of design principles. Honor the history. There's something about seeing like Piet's work where it's real obvious that this came from somewhere. It's not new, and I think that brings awareness, and that's great. Use basic ID standards, comics, and even aesthetics of things are put together, I think still are valid. I mean, if you're a design student, so use what you've learned in the designing new things to bring it to the upcycling world. Oh, there's still room for innovation, like that Eames chair. They actually, I think they did do an office chair a long time ago, and it swiveled. Now this one swivels. So as a result, like all these things, you just do more of this, and it'll hopefully keep things away from the landfill. That's kind of the end of my quick presentation. But I was thinking if anybody has something that's fully done and they want to share, come on up and then we'll talk about it. And then we'll work our way down to maybe you brought something in and you think it's interesting, but you don't know, you think it has potential, and maybe as a group we can talk about it. What's your name?
My name's Erin.
Hi.
Hello. So this is a thing that I do kind of frequently.
Yeah.
But I drink sake and the bottle's empty and I stuff it in my cabinet because I mean, hey, it's a nice bottle.
Right.
So what I like to make is I've got a glass cutter at home, but I like to make drinking glasses out of these. So with a decent sake bottle, you've got that little nice, smooth, flat bottom. So it's pretty much the perfect drinking vessel.
Yeah. Is there something about the sake bottle that makes this a better cup than you would normally buy?
I also feel like the glass is kind of like just the right thickness for a store-bought bottle.
Uh-huh.
If you go and buy like a whiskey tumbler or anything else, a lot of times you get that really heavy, thick glass, and bring it up and bumps into your teeth, and you're like,
Right.
oh no, it's kind of concerning. And a lot of cheaper glassware is a lot lighter, thinner. So I find this is kind of like the perfect size for your hand, and also like kind of the perfect thickness of the glass.
That's cool.
I didn't bring it with me because it's large, but I brought like the process.
What's your name?
It is. I'm Camilla.
Hi.
Hi. I work for an interior design company, and we get like boxes sent of fabric samples of like all different kinds, and they're high quality, and they'll send us like books, and sometimes if we don't think like a client can use it or that it's like our specific style, it just gets thrown away, which sucks, and they let me take them home. And it's a little borderline hoarding because it kind of takes a long time, but a lot of scrap wood, like in our design tools and materials class, we like cut these pieces of wood, one about like 2 inches thick, and I'll wrap the fabric around it. And I just wrap it like that, that's like for example, and then I'll use it as a frame for a mirror. I have like a picture on my phone of one of the ones that I did and made in my house. I don't really know how to show that, but
You could show it to the
this
camera.
is it like on the ground. You can see like this fabric, it kind of is like, it's all the same material, just different colors, and it adds like a little bit of a boho chic
Oh, cool.
look.
Yeah.
And so a lot of mirrors get thrown out. This is like a cheap, crappy IKEA mirror. That's kind of a fun way to reuse the fabric that gets tossed out, and you don't have to buy anything, and it's easy. You just staple it together and glue it on. So that is this obviously isn't a finished piece, but I've done a few of those. And,
Ideas. What's your name?
Marette.
Marette. Have any ideas what Marette could do with this?
All right, so it looks like it's, is that a
Masonite?
press board maybe?
Yeah.
And then sandwiched together, finished off, decorative.
Thoughts?
You can do like a lot with that. You can have that like as like a little, like on in front of your couch you have that little, what's it called?
Ottoman.
Ottoman. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can put like your stuff in there, like maybe some candles, maybe divide it up. You have,
Like inside.
yeah, like
Yeah.
on like your remote and stuff. It's a little organized.
I was thinking also maybe like a mirror.
side table.
Make a drum out of it.
Make a what?
A drum.
A drum.
Yeah.
True.
It's like coach, right?
Yeah. It was part of our like set design.
I would probably try to showcase that. Maybe it was that way too.
Is there something in your home that you need?
That I need.
Yeah. I'm wondering if this could be part of something that, like, oh, I don't know what you need.
Maybe like an organizer.
An organizer. Like shelves on there, maybe.
Oh, but then I would still hide the back.
Oh, you want to show the back, right?
Can you stand on it? Is it strong
Yeah.
enough? Like a stool.
Maybe change up the coloring and then integrate it with the wood, potentially. You know, those are, that way you're kind of facing the wall. You make this a feature, but it now becomes something secondary. Yeah.
From Zoom, someone suggested it could be used as a cat litter box.
Yeah.
A very posh cat litter
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
I have I guess it's like a broken cheese grater thing, but it's kind of poorly designed because the handle, basically it's stripped out. It's a screw, so you're supposed to be able to remove it, clean both parts, but now it's stripped out, so when you try to use it, it just doesn't work. I don't know. It was interesting enough, I guess. I have no clue what to do with it, though.
Do you think it could be repaired?
I mean, you would have to replace this part entirely.
Okay.
Because it's all stripped and you'd have to
Right.
go in. If you want to replace it, you just make a new one.
Right.
Probably. Not saying it couldn't be designed better.
Right.
Yeah.
Very well. I think it could be repaired.
Maybe.
No?
I,
Oh, like put a T in here? Yeah.
yeah.
How about this? You have any thoughts on?
I don't know.
Did you bring in anything else?
Yeah. Oh, I have this as well.
Old spray gun?
Yeah.
Does it work?
Pretty sure it's broken.
It's broken.
I don't know. It was in the garage and it's probably been sitting there for like
Right.
20 years.
Anybody have any thoughts on this and this, or?
I guess the only idea I had is maybe you could use this as like a lamp base or something. 'Cause I
Yeah.
think it could be nice enough to do something.
Yeah.
like that with.
Lamps or lighting, and it seems even easier these days with LEDs because they're just lower energy and don't give off heat, and you can make things and not worry about. I wonder if there's something with that hose over there that this could be combined with. Any other tools? Like these are both tools. I kind of like this because going back to like the history, like this shows that it's been used. Obviously not new and a unique look, you know, here. And then obviously, again with this table, you could see all the patina and layers of paint that was once on here. There is a thing where and with the table where you have multiple things and you glue it together to make something like a raw lumber or some sort of stock, like sheet stock. So I see things like multiples of these, like you could somehow combine them, and then that would maybe open up some ideas. Thank you. Any other thoughts on yours?
No, I mean, the only thing I was thinking is I guess you could probably cut off parts of this to
Yeah.
turn, like, because this is the right size for that. So
Yeah.
you could probably keep this if you cut off the rest.
Yeah, I like the idea of like maybe a lamp base, or somehow this could be a lamp and attach something off of here. I don't know. And then it's easy to somehow run the wires through all this channeling. Where did you get them?
But I only needed a couple for like my plants.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, this was the best value, was just getting a bunch and then for future use.
Right.
But they've been sitting in my house for like 6 months.
And you didn't want to throw them out.
No, yeah, I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
them, but I don't know. When I was reading about the description for this class,
Yeah.
I thought these were good because I have so many of them.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're a good material where they can be like manipulated in a way.
Uh-huh.
Like for, I don't know, whatever. I was thinking even like you said, like the light fixture, these could work as like a prototype for a design.
Uh-huh.
Like in one of my classes, I've needed materials like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, if ideas, or organize, like storage, organizing. That could work.
Something that doesn't go through the holes though, right?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Any other thoughts? I think when I start to see these, a bunch of them, then it gives me more ideas, like especially when they're in an array or pattern. Oh, huh? Like this? The color of this, is there something about the color that can spark something? Brick, brown?
It does seem like maybe if you made it a little shorter, maybe you could make it some sort of soundproofing or something like that.
Uh-huh, like,
Put them on walls.
oh, yeah, you could just have a bunch of them like this. The other property of these are the holes. Of course, they're for drainage for plants, but is there something to take advantage of the holes? I don't know.
Like paintbrushes maybe, you could just
Paintbrushes, yeah.
individually.
Weave it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like you can do whatever, like you can manipulate it in a way to create something else. Like it's a really like easy material to work with.
Yeah.
You need to cut it.
I used to just do tons of consumer electronics where it's a plastic housing and then some guts inside, PC board, battery, and all that kind of stuff. And so if this works, if this still works, you could totally reimagine this, take it apart, and like make a new housing out of it, right?
It's like just, I feel like the speakers itself is like not really, like just like a phone speaker. Like why you just use your phone to listen or something?
But it's still usable, right?
I don't
Like
know,
what
like-
is there something here if you gutted this and put a new enclosure around it or a used
like
enclosure?
amplify the sound.
Could amplify the sound or just have a like unique one of a kind look. And to Max's point about art and design, it would be this one-off. If you maybe make a wood housing or something, I don't know.
You ever stuck your phone near your sink and all of a sudden
Oh yeah, or like a,
Yeah.
yeah.
it sounds like crazy. It's like if you could make a bell for it,
Yeah.
if you will.
I think there's a whole world of things where it's like a mass-produced plastic enclosure that you see everywhere. Like this to me looks like, I don't know, JBL or some Logitech speaker that somebody ripped off and designed it. But to make a unique housing, like what if you took this, gutted it, and then cut this bottle and then somehow, had a bottle speaker just because you wanted a bottle speaker. I don't know. There's like weird things like that. And it's not, not going to save the world or not going to sell it, but something you created and it's one of a kind. This missing the phone, I don't know. What could this be? I always see, like with that other one, we talked about a lamp base. I mean, you could probably wire this somehow and attach something else. And
This part out, and you had like fairy lights or something, and then you kind of like glass dome kind of piece. You could slot right into
a
there with the
little
fairy lighting.
mood lamp or something.
Mood lamp would be kind of cute.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, maybe you gut the internal and then use the outside for like a flask or something. If somebody cover the holes. And the thing about these are, and like almost, I haven't heard of one earbud yet that has replaceable batteries. Like once these batteries die, gotta toss it, and it just makes me sad. But this, if you took this out, you'd have a nice little zippered case or something.
What's interesting with that is the idea that, a lot of us actually carry extra stuff, but we end up with things like junk. But it doesn't look like you're carrying a retainer or other personal items. It just kind of looks like you have a piece of electronics with you. Something like this could easily be combined with some of this recycled clothing. Hopefully something that wasn't from the street.
Nobody picked anything up from the street.
Oh, that's
we
right.
yeah.
So just maybe from the laundry basket, I don't know. But you could affix something like this to it and create something that, you may not want to wear, but as a feature, you could have something that feels retro cool. Looks like something
Like
you would have
pencil
gone, yeah.
Like a lot of these things are,
Or even a shoulder. You could take the sleeves, make the shoulder.
are, since a lot of these things are fabric, you can sew these together or sew them to a garment, and you have a new thing like attached to it.
I don't know.
You have a wallet too.
Like an old one. I had to like staple it because it was like the seams were coming out, so I stapled it to like.
Well, you should.
Get it.
Well, my wallet has been repaired many times with stitching. It looks worse than that. Here's my wallet.
Oh man.
It was a great leather wallet, but you know, I've totally stitched it up and trying to save it. Wow, you brought a lot. What else?
Some bearings. Like that old
Skateboard bearings?
Yeah.
What can you do with the bearings? What?
The old Batman watch.
Wow, you got a lot of stuff.
Oh, no,
You kept them. You must have thought, oh, these bearings, I could use them for something. Yeah. Fidget spinner. Actually, fidget spinners were probably invented from somebody just playing with bearings, right?
a box up for like Yu-Gi-Oh cards or like some like card game.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is I think it's a cool material.
So yeah, things like this, I see it, and again to the hoarding thing. Like I might not have an idea about what I can make from this, but I'd probably just break it down and make it a flat sheet stock, and then like, oh, I need a blue gel for something like lighting, like
a good lens.
yeah, or some special effect on a camera. I don't know, and then it's got the living hinges, you know. Sometimes you just need a hinge that's easy to, you know, attach to something. So you could just like cut that there. Then you got a hinge, and then you could attach it to two things that weren't attached before. And it's not a metal hinge, you know.
Add it to your to this is a trash can, right?
Yeah. Put a lid. I could have a lid there. You know, just have another thing there.
I feel like the bearings. I feel like you can do something cool with them, but I don't know.
The bearings are interesting to me because they're this mechanical thing for rotation. But yeah, anything around, right? Like the flower pots, you could start having some sort of, I don't know. Articulation. Something kinetic. What's that?
Makeshift laces.
Oh yeah. Who brought this in? Okay. You have any ideas?
I was just thinking of stripping this mesh
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
and just use this sheet for like rendering texture, like putting a paper
yeah.
on top and doing the texture with it.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Papers and shred them up
Oh yeah.
And the water drips. Just press it on there. Brought these bags.
Just like that.
Bubble wrap. I feel like that one designer, Nicole McLaughlin. Oh, you didn't bring this one. Who brought this? Yeah?
Yeah. My name is Alvaro. I bought it because it's very I've
Yeah.
seen it in space. That's for, I guess, for groceries, so keep
Okay.
cold.
Yeah.
So I've been watching a lot of alien stuff, so I just thinking, getting paranoid, cut it up, put it as a hat, I'll be safe, you know?
Yeah.
That's it. That's my idea also.
Yeah.
I feel like you could kind of cut it and maybe like match it together with some parts and maybe put on a car windshield.
Oh, huh. A sunshade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have in my car. I have a skylight or a moon. What is it? Moonroof, sunroof.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have a cover, and so I have just paper up there in the summer. But this would be perfect because it's reflective and has some insulation in it. So this is like a great just raw material. But
Is that stuff for like those like refrigerator bags or all your stuff that you want to keep groceries?
yeah,
I'm wondering how effective that would be as a lining for the jacket.
I don't know.
I tried this too. It's just some glasses I got a Pride, but I don't think I'm ever gonna use it. I don't know what to do. Like
No, don't trash it.
just like repaint it in different colors.
Repaint it. Do you have any ideas for like a Halloween costume? Or? I don't know.
A mesh screen to store earrings.
Oh, interesting. So like you hold it like this or this way? Yeah, it's like a fine pegboard. You
Right.
could just like
Make a stand out of it, so
Oh,
get
yeah.
some additional materials and put a base on it.
or maybe carefully bend it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a triangle. Anybody else want to volunteer, or should I just pull out? Yeah.
On the topic of jewelry,
Yeah.
I brought this styrofoam I took from work, an Altoid container, and some scrap fabric.
Okay.
And I figured if you cut this into little rows, you could make it so it holds rings. Like little
Oh,
ring
yeah.
rings.
Started to make something. Who did this? You want to talk about it?
I'm not sure if that's recycling or upcycling. I just made this morning, so I thought we were supposed to make something. And it's just, I always buy these bottles because I keep forgetting my water bottle at home. So I just took that and just cut it up, hot glue it, and just insert like a bulb here. So it can be like a light fixture.
Did you try it?
I didn't, because like when I put it in, it's like an afterthought that I really need to cut this part.
Oh, I see.
And I just
That's
don't have
okay.
the tools, so
Yeah. That's cool. What's your name?
Mika.
Mika. Oh, yeah. I think the thing here is that a LED bulb?
Yeah.
Okay. Because if it was an incandescent, it might get too hot and the glue might melt.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I would call this upcycling.
There's also an opportunity, like you could do interesting perforations with it and then paint it.
Yeah.
Or even utilize the graphics that are on it as kind of its own.
Yeah. Like, I tend to lean towards like just leaving it as is, but a way to just bring dissimilar things together is to just paint it all the same color. You know, like if you wanted to combine these and they kind of clash, like, oh, let's paint it matte black and it looks like a designer object or something. Thanks. Did you bring anything else then?
Probably just that box.
Okay. Who brought this? Nobody brought it? So this is great because I see a lot of packaging, which just immediately you want to throw out, right? What is it? Is it just art? Is this just a sculpture? Which is fine.
Okay,
Who's this? Nobody? Somebody just left it here and left? Nah, so, you know, this is great because it's kind and it's art. What else is over here? Who brought these caps in? Yeah?
Those are the candle tops I was talking about.
Oh, the candle tops. Okay. These are great. These are real, this is solid wood and everything.
I was thinking maybe a coaster,
Uh-huh.
or I don't know, like maybe put a hook on it and then put it on your wall. It's like decorative.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You drill a hole in your window, you can use it as a incense holder.
Oh, perfect. That's easy to do. Yeah, there's something about just how simple and, you know, the circle and the circular wood is. They sell. I thought like you drill a hole and they sell these clock kits. You can just make a clock out of it too. Who brought this in? Any thoughts? Anybody else have thoughts?
What is this ancient art?
Yeah. What? So as you know, there's probably tons of these just sitting around in landfills. My first thought is utilize how nice and clear this is, and could it just be a frame, like repurpose it as a frame, put some photo in there to close it up. I think the other thing nice about it is the hinge. Maybe there's some. Does anybody have any ideas how to? Yeah.
I was thinking so it's more towards art, but I see a lot of artists making like concept CDs or like, you know, even after maybe a music media or something else, and then like a piece of art that's like supposed to look like a CD cover and put it in one of the pieces.
Oh, but it's not a CD.
There's no actual CD.
Oh, no actual CD.
Case and like cover art.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you said, it's really clear is the idea of potentially cutting it out, assuming you have multiples of these. These are the types of things that could be, you know, chandeliers or things like that, where, you know, if normally using cheap plastic like that would cheapen it, but because it has previous use, you kind of, you know, maybe even that little dimple in there becomes a reflector or some element like that, where you've got, you know, you can see when he tilts it to the light, you get pops. So imagine that kind of hanging around a light fixture or as a scrim
Yeah, yeah. I think going back to the multiples of these, like maybe just one you're not inspired by or have a great idea, but if you had a whole, box full of these and start putting them together, there might be some more ideas. I was also thinking, like, could you just drill a hole, put it on the wall, and have some sort of sign or art that you just want to change? Like, there's a frame there, but then I flip it down one day and something shows up. Like bottles and plastic tubs, food tubs at home. A lot of times I'll look at what can I do with it, but then it just turns into, oh, I need something for paint or something to just hold liquid and while I'm cleaning or something.